Hey, everybody, this is Tammy D, and I'll tell you, a lot of you may not know much about Austria, but it's famous. It's famous for a few things. Okay, it's famous for Mozart and Mozart Kugeln and Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Sound of Music, and that may be all you know about Austria. But the second most famous person ever to come out of Austria, next to Arnold, is my guest today, Nicola. And I had Nicola, I want to see if I say this right, because I had 1 year of high school German. So Nicola Stauder. Is that close?
Very good, Tammy.
I remember I had an actual native German teacher, or native German for a teacher in high school. And all day long, one of the things she started her class with was, okay, everybody, okay, let's get these Americans on the same page. So Nicola is kind of sort of famous in her own mind and in the minds of others as an equestrian.
Not famous in my own mind.
Okay.
Correct you right there.
Okay. She's an equestrian. She's, a fashionista. She lives in the United States now for some strange reason known only to her. And she is really one of the most dynamic entrepreneurs I've ever met, very much into the health thing. And I think post-COVID and in these very weird times that we're in, I've never seen anything quite like it. How it's important to keep up with your health. It really is important to do things that are going to make you feel, look, and act better. And so we're going to talk to Nicola about who she is, how she got into this business in the first place. And let me tell you, one thing I learned from her is if people tell you you cannot make money in direct sales, okay, nobody ever makes money doing that. She has proven that is absolutely not true. And she'll even share a couple of tips for people that are trying to make it in this right now. So welcome to Safe Money Trends, or the Safe Space podcast, rather, Nicola.
I love that you introduced me as a fashionista, as I'm sitting here hot off my yoga mat. I haven't washed my hair in 10 days. I have a sweatshirt on. I won't even stand up so you guys can't see what I'm wearing on the bottom, but no fashionista going on right now. And I'm not in direct sales. I'm in network marketing.
Network marketing, which, see, she's not afraid to call it what it is. I mean, call it what it is.
It took me a long time to understand it. So now I own it. So what was your question? You muted yourself.
No, sorry about that.
Let's keep it. No,
my question is like, you have a really varied background. I mean, you do tons of stuff. Yoga instructor, you're into the horses, you live on a ranch. How did you come to this country, and what made you pursue what you do with, and we can say Isagenix, we can say what you do, but
no, I think
your story.
It's good to be open. I mean, that's a big story, Tammy. I came to the US in 1989, and I just dated myself. I'm 51, and I moved to Big Sky, Montana, because when I was a young kid growing up in Austria, I heard all about the Rocky Mountains and the cowboys and Indians and the wide open spaces and Yellowstone Park, and I was like, that's where I want to grow. That's where I want to go once I can go. So when I was shy of 18, I moved to Big Sky and worked at a dude ranch, cleaning cabins. And it was the best summer of my life. I loved it so much. It was amazing. And I went home that winter, just long enough to save enough money to buy another plane ticket back to Bozeman, Montana, to go back to Big Sky. And I've basically lived here most of my adult life, not just in Montana. I lived all over the United States, even Alaska. But Montana is kind of, it's kind of my second home, especially as I get older. I spend a lot more time in Europe. I love going to Austria. I love being over there, but I also really love living in Montana. But yeah, so that's how I ended up here. I just wanted to experience the wide open spaces of Montana and the Rockies. It had a really strong pull to me, nature. So there's a big thing about me. I'm really into nature and outdoors and animals and spending time in the outdoors. And this is a really good place to do it.
So you had a background, you mentioned animals, but you were a very prominent equestrian. And so, how did that's so I think that's such a neat world. It's far removed from what a lot of us here in America experience with horses. How did you get into the whole like dressage and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I grew up in a small little ski resort, which is actually pretty well known now. It's called Meierhofen. It's about an hour from Innsbruck in the heart of the Alps. And so I grew up in a ski resort in a ski family. And I was the girl that loved horses. So my cousins, they were 10 years older than me and they had a horse. And I was always going to the barn with I called them my older sisters to be around the horses. And I just, I've always had a really strong pull towards animals and horses especially. So I grew up riding horses, and then I got into really riding dressage and did a lot of education around that. And when I moved to the United States, I just got into it even more and realized there was an opportunity for me here, especially in this country, to kind of help others with their riding and with the training of their horses. And it just kind of evolved. It's not that I thought that I was going to become a professional equestrian, but I did that for many years and then moved back to Europe, got my Bereiter. That's what that's called. You basically are getting professionally trained, that you can train people and educate in the world of dressage. And that's what I did. And then I dove deeper and deeper into the equestrian world because I started an equestrian apparel brand called Eurofit, which was manufactured in Germany, but all my distribution was in the US. I was basically a manufacturer and wholesale distributor. And that's what I literally did up to, I want to say 12 years ago, maybe 11 years ago. And then I mean, there's a lot of stuff, a big story around that, but then Isagenix showed up in my life. And I was in California actually teaching a workshop, in a dressage workshop. I used to teach these body mind workshops where it was horse and rider, but really also a lot of meditation. And at the time we were integrating Pilates and yoga to really just help people find a different way to connect with their animals outside of like the sport arena. And the person that was hosting my workshop was using Isagenix. And she's been a client of mine for a long time and someone that I really admired and respected. I think she was in her 60s back then. And she was telling me about Isagenix. And I was like, oh no, the American powder shakes. I was just like, I'm not going to drink the crap in the plastic container. I had a strong aversion to any kind of product like that. I was like, well, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm not overweight, I feel good, I don't need to do that. And it was network marketing, which she kind of, didn't tell me, but it's obvious. And I was like, I knew just enough about network marketing that I thought I didn't like it. And I had a negative opinion about it. Like so many people, I don't hear it that much now, but when I first got involved, I heard that a lot. So long story short, I went home. I didn't try Isagenix. I was like, it's not my thing. And then 6 months later, I went back, or maybe it was 4 months later, to teach again. And she looked amazing. And she was a cancer survivor. And I was like, God, what are you doing? And she didn't need to lose weight or anything like that. She just really focused on getting her body to a new level of wellness and through nutrition and detox. And so she said, well, this thing, Isagenix, remember that you shut me down, the crap in the plastic containers? Well, that's what I've been doing and I feel great. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try it. So I tried it. And honestly, Tammy, it changed my life. I mean, I did it for 30 days and I partially ordered it because I was kind of worried I was going to lose her as a customer, if I'm really honest. But I also was intrigued because she looked amazing. She put on a lot of muscle and she has stamina. So it's all these subtle things that weren't really so noticeable to the eye, but I noticed because she was my student. And then I was like, okay, well, it's 30-day money back guarantee. I'll just give it a shot. And I'm Austrian, right? So Austrians say no to everything first. That's a given. It's culturally ingrained. And
Nine, right? They say nine.
Yeah. And I kind of wanted to prove it wrong. Like it's not going to work for me. And so I didn't do it great. I was a little bit like you, Tammy. I don't like this. I don't like that. I can't do that. I don't know if you guys know Tammy very well, but that's a little battle her and I have going on.
Hey, things have changed. I've seen I can do a lot more.
Oh, good. I'm proud. So anyway, I did it. I wanted to prove it wrong. And after my first week, I was like, holy shit, I feel amazing. And now 13 years later, Isagenix has just become part of my wellness routine. And over the first 2 years, I got, very part-time involved with the company and just learning to understand network marketing, understanding what it really is versus what I thought it was. And also realizing that, it's an industry just like any other industry. And there's people that are highly ethical and do really good job. And then there's people that, maybe are annoying, or they just have a very different style that would turn me off. So I learned through that whole process that you can't put everything, in the same container, so to speak. I think any industry, right? There's real estate agents that are amazing. And I know a lot of them that I'm like, oh my God, no way. And I know bankers like that. And I know equestrians like that. So I just had to kind of figure it out what it was for me, and what was it about this company that intrigued me, and why would I want to learn how to do this? So I took it on. You just disappeared, Tammy. Did you turn your camera off?
I did. I'd rather focus on your beautiful long braid than me.
Oh, okay. So I just took it on and said, you know what? I've never done something like this. I'm going to kind of figure it out. And honestly, I was burned out with what I was doing. I was tired of teaching, and I didn't really want to be in the horse world anymore. And I liked the idea of building residual income. The time I was in my late 30s, and I was like, well, if I don't work, I don't have any money coming in. So it looked like I was doing well, but I wasn't doing that well, because if I stopped working, there was not a lot of extra. So I realized actually what happened, and if I'm ranting, just interrupt me, Tammy, but someone challenged me and said, if you look at your financial blueprint back then and where you want to go, what does that look like 5 years from now? Are you on track? Do you feel like what you're doing right now is going to get you there? And I realized, no, the answer was just a very clear no. I mean, whatever I was doing was not going to get me to where I wanted to be. And I knew that it was up to me to kind of change something. So I was like, well, I can work harder. I can put in more hours. And I was already working, weekdays and weekends. And I had 3 businesses going and traveling on the weekends. I was like, well, I can't really work much harder. So I just had to realize that I need to just kind of change what I'm doing. And that's when I became very open to learning what network marketing really is. So that's how it all started for me. And I can honestly say now, 13 years into it, I think I'm pretty much semi-retired. It was the best decision of my life, not so much because it provided, some really great financial opportunity. I mean, that's a benefit. But I had to grow as a person. It really pushed me out of my comfort zone. And I had to look at my life really differently. And that is really, for me, the biggest part of that whole journey. So.
Wow, that is an amazing story. When you and I met and we spent that little short bit of time together, I was impressed by your incredible energy and your fixation on, you were goal oriented. I think that really is probably why the equestrian world was something of a, an attraction for you, because, you focus on the goal. And I was just amazed by that. But I want to, as we look around right now, though, in the present day, and we see, everything that's happening in the world, is there still, in your opinion, what are you counseling people to do? As we obviously see things are not where they need to be. Things are changing really rapidly. So is it still viable, you think, to get into something like Isagenix? And if so, how would somebody that wants to look in, how are they starting, given all the negative news we're getting all the time?
Yeah, but for me, I have a different mindset. I know the world is changing, but the world was always changing. Even pre-COVID, the world was changing. It's just, I think the world is always evolving, hopefully. And as people, we evolve. And I know that humans, we learn the hard way. We need things to change or within ourselves, or the environment is going to create something that is forcing us to change in order for us to evolve as human beings. In terms of network marketing, I mean, I find the opportunity greater now than it was pre-COVID, because a whole, so many cultures have shifted to online. It's so much easier now. I mean, I have customers that are, 70, 80 years old. They're all of a sudden comfortable. Hey, I'm going to get on my smartphone and I'm going to place an order. It's like become a normal thing versus pre-COVID, that was not easy for people. They weren't willing to get out of their comfort zone to really learn how to do things like that. I mean, look at, the world of Amazon. I mean, online shopping has become the norm, right? I mean, people order their toilet paper online. So I think network marketing, where you're, for me, I'm just, the way I see myself as like, well, I'm kind of the middleman, right? So there's the company that does all the product development and all the product research, and they do all the fulfilling of the orders. They, they ship, they receive, they do deal with returns, they collect the funds. And I am the person that kind of is representing the company and get paid on commission for what I do. So I think sales has shifted more and more that way, and hence retail sales, walking into a store, going shopping, that's, I think, slowly going away, is at least what I notice. I don't want to drive somewhere to go shopping. I buy almost everything I do online. And I hear more and more people are doing that. I just hear that from my FedEx delivery guy, last night it delivered at like Sunday evening at 7 p.m. And it's like normal that FedEx now delivers on a Sunday. So I think opportunity is all around us. I think it comes back to the person. It's like, what are you looking for? Are you willing to learn something new? Are you willing to expand your capacity to create, a different financial future for yourself? I think the hardest thing of going out and doing something like network marketing, if you haven't done it before, is realizing that you get to step into something that has a massive possibility for you to grow as a person. And I think a lot of people say they want to grow, but they don't really want to grow. I think that's the key to success. What I've learned is just being willing to get out of your comfort zone more often. And I mean, I see with myself, I don't want to get out of my comfort zone. I have to every day consciously push myself to do something that I rather not do. So, my mind is telling me, well, this is good, so I want to do it. And this is bad, so I don't want to do it. So I try not to categorize things into good and bad just because my ego has an aversion or an attraction to something. I don't know if that makes sense, but to me, that's very closely linked to success.
It does. And as a marketing coordinator, I get a lot of these opportunities, you can imagine, come to me all the time. There's 10,000 network marketing companies out there, and, I'm willing to try things if they really work. So what made you really stick with Isagenix once you got into it? I mean, it wasn't the comp plan and all the stuff. The products themselves had some resonance with you.
I mean, the products to me, they changed my life. I mean, they really did. I know I had to have that personal experience, and I didn't know how good I could feel in my own body. And then, my husband, he became like the melting man. I mean, he transformed. He's 10 years older than me, and we were doing the same protocol, and the guy is like transforming in front of my eyes, and I'm feeling better. So I'm like, there's something very viable and very legitimate here. So I started getting very intrigued with, what does the body really need to be healthy? What can I do to support my own health, versus just, blindly going shopping or thinking I'm eating healthy when I really have no idea, well, what does healthy really look like? So I had to have that personal experience, and then it became kind of a no-brainer to share it with other people, because most people I knew, and back then, definitely out of the horse world, were either feeling like shit and were looking for ways to feel better, or they were also like, well, if I could earn a little extra income, I'm also open to that. So for me, Isagenix just kind of became this package deal of where I have something that worked for me, and I'm willing to share and offer, and maybe it will help someone else. honestly, I was pretty naive because I thought, it's going to be really easy to share because everybody needs what I need. I think that's where a lot of people that get into network marketing kind of maybe get derailed because it's actually not as easy as we think it is. And so for me, it's definitely started with the products. But then as I looked at what this company was and the Cougars who are the owners, and it was family owned, and the comp plan, honestly, Tammy, the comp plan was a huge part of why I decided to really go for it. Because when I understood it, when I understood the commission structure, I was like, this is really amazing. And then I started comparing it to other network marketing companies. And I don't know, I mean, I know a lot of network marketing companies, and I don't really look at them super close, besides that I buy products from other network marketing companies, but I yet have to find a comp plan that I think is comparable to the Isagenix comp plan. And I'm not saying that because I'm in Isagenix, I'm saying that because I haven't found one that compares. So for me, it was like, yeah, network marketing is a business. I'm sure there are things about this that are not perfect. I mean, Isagenix is definitely not perfect because it's, we're all people, and we're not perfect. But I liked what I saw, and I really love that I can be my own boss. I don't have to have inventory. I can work with other people. I get to grow myself. I have an opportunity to change my financial future. There were just so many pieces that fit the puzzle. And the last thing that I really, wanted to do is have another business where I needed to have employees and inventory. So that was also a big draw to me, that I, even now, 13 years later, I order what I eat. I don't have inventory. I've never had a lot of inventory.
That's a big plus, because especially nowadays, and I think also something else that may be working in your favor since COVID started is people that I never knew were concerned about their health before have a renewed interest in getting and staying healthy as actually a function of going through the tough times that we're going through right now. Do you see a lot more people who are interested and willing to talk now about they don't feel well?
I see two groups of people. I see people that have come out of COVID. They have completely turned their life around. I actually just have a new team member that she completely turned her life around. She started meditating. She started doing daily gratitude. She started eating more keto, looking at the things she was eating, taking responsibility for her well-being. It's like, I can't blame other people if my life is shit. She was just really looking at herself and I compare it to like AA, the 12-step groups, the 12 steps, which I love, because that's all about hold up the mirror, look at your own shit and start there, right? So I see a big group of people that has done that. And then I see a group of people, they got derailed, right? They just really, it was just really, really tough for them. And my heart really goes out to, really to everybody, because I always say we're all just trying the best we can with where we're at. It just looks different with where we're at. So this group that's already taking that step towards being proactive with their health, they are definitely coming into companies like Isagenix because they want to be more involved with wellness. So I see a big group coming in that way. But then I also see this group of people that like, I don't feel good, and now I really don't feel good. I need to do something. So the conversation all in all has gotten much easier because, especially with Isagenix, people are more open to terms like detox, cleansing, elimination, reset. Those are, terms when I started 13 years ago, people were like, cleansing? What do you mean? Do I have to gonna sit on the toilet all day? That's really changed. So I think it's easier now. Honestly, I think it's easier now.
I think you're right. And like I said, I could talk to you all day because you're a fascinating and interesting individual with a very twisted sense of humor. So we want to let people know that. But if a person is considering doing something like this, or if they just want to be an entrepreneur in general in the health space, for you, what are 3 tips that you would give people that want to do this? I mean, like 3 really actionable steps they can take.
I want to get involved in like network marketing.
Or in particular, yeah, network health marketing, or even in Isagenix specifically? Where do they
I
stand?
I think the important thing is, like, and I can only speak from Isagenix because I've never been in another company, but for me, it's really important to experience the products. Like, I don't think you have to have a huge experience with the products to start sharing with other people, but it's important to use the products yourself. Like, I've gotten people that approach me that are like, well, I've seen your financial success. I want to do what you've done, but I'm not interested in the products. I don't like that. Like, I can share Isagenix authentically because I use the products. I'm a product of the products. I love them, I believe in them, and I experience how much they've enhanced my life. And it's not about having a perfect body, or I'm not the kind of person I'm going to post before and after photos of my belly. I don't have the perfect body. If I were to take my clothes off and sit in front of you, Tammy, in my bikini, it's not about that to me, but it's more about how well can I feel in my own body. So I think that's an important part. And then really understand, look at the company closer, like look at the leadership, look at, their history, the fact that they've been around for 20 years. So all these kind of things that to me give a lot of value to, who they are as a company, their integrity. And those are the first things I would look at. And then I would also get really, really honest of like, well, what do I really want to accomplish for myself? It's like, what are some income goals for myself? And then have a conversation with someone that has kind of done what you want to do, and get mentored. I had a great mentor when I first started in Isagenix. He's ex-military, so it was more like boot camp mentoring. But it was perfect for me because I needed no bullshit. And I think it's important to realize that you come into something like Isagenix and you're not alone. Like in our community, there's a big community, there's a lot of support, there's a lot of coaching if you want it, but you kind of have to do your part. So people won't do it for you, but there's a lot of support in terms of you can get all the help that you want, so to speak.
Well, yeah,
Which is pretty amazing, right? It's really amazing. And you don't get charged for it, and you eat your overhead. It still blows my brain.
Well, and also I think people are more willing to share their secrets with you in this kind of community. And some places they don't want to tell you anything they're doing because of course you might be competition.
I don't resonate. I think, if you live in a lack mindset, I've gone through phases of my life where I was, this is working for me, so I'm not going to share, or I'm doing this, I'm not going to share. And you see it a lot in the horse world, whatever. And I think if you live in it, to me, that's living in a state of lack. And I think it's hard to attract abundance or a more fulfilling life if you're living in a state of lack. I think it always comes back to, where are things not flowing? Where are things not, kind of manifesting the way I envision it? It's because I'm standing on probably my own, I'm creating a kink in my house, so to speak. And anytime I come up against my stuff, or when I feel stuck, I always have to go back. It's my new favorite term. It's like back to, zero. Like zero is my reset. That zero has become my friend. And just kind of say, okay, where do I need to look at how I'm showing up, and where am I?
Zero is my dog.
Honest? Yeah, zero is
my dog.
Is good.
No, my dog's name is Zero.
Oh, I love it.
So every time we say it, he turns his head. He's like,
oh, I love it. Yeah. So, and it's like, and also for me, I've learned, I've been doing this for 13 years. I don't have it figured out. And now I realize who says you have to have it figured out? It's like one day at a time, right?
And sometimes the figuring is actually the fun part of it. So I know we're out of time now, but one last thing, I heard a rumor, and you've got to set me straight if this is true or not. Did you really give Isagenix to a horse? Did you really do that?
Oh yeah, I've given some of the Isagenix product to many horses. It's actually, I know a lot of people that do that.
Really? So have you talked to the Kentucky Derby people about maybe?
No, I don't. I haven't. But I know a lot of equestrians that have given Isagenix to horses, and horses are living creatures too. I mean, I have dogs. I'm always looking at, how can I help my dog's health? So nutrition, nutrition is a big, broad topic.
It is a huge topic, and I could talk to you all day, but here's what, if people want to connect with you and explore Isagenix, what's the best way to do that?
Well, they can reach out to you and you can connect them to me, and that would be one way. And then another way would be find me on Facebook. Facebook is a social media platform. I mean, I'm actually not that good on social media. I'm just trying to get better at like Instagram. And
yeah, antisocial you are, I know.
Well, I'm learning. TikTok is totally blowing my brain. I can't even whoa. So talk about a learning curve, but Facebook is a good place for people to connect with me. And then, if they're really serious, have them reach out to you, Tammy. And if you could,
I could actually do something in the business. Well, that's what she's trying to say. Okay. She's goading me. She's getting me motivated here, but I really want to say how much I admire Nicola and everything that she's done. She came over here without any connections or anything, and just built a wonderful life. And she worked really hard. Don't let her fool you. It seems effortless now, but she worked really hard. I kind of knew her almost not in the very beginning, but close to it. And she's done amazing things. I've been following her career for years, and I encourage everyone else out there to do so as well. Nicola Stauder.
Vielen Dank.
Vielen Dank.
Thank you.
And I appreciate it.
Stop
And
this recording.
we'll talk later.